everybody, CW here. All right, I've got the 8mm here on the bench, and if you watched the last video, the range video where I was shooting the 170 grain Hornadies, we noticed a little bit of a shift, impact shift, from hot and cold on the barrel, and then from the first shots to the last. As we started shooting and the barrel started to warm up, we started seeing that group move. Now, you will see groups move sometimes within nodes. On paper, you know, they'll usually climb, but that's normally a function of velocity more so than anything else. Dwell time in the barrel, recoil, all those factors, they all have a factor in point of impact on the paper. But when you start seeing side to side shifts, consistent, you know, grouping, moving, excuse me, generally you look at bedding. Well, it could also be your rest and your hand position, your feet seating position, your ergonomics on the bench. But generally that's not a big find until you're really got everything else ironed out. It's like that's a fine-tuning thing. Generally you don't see that, and then if you do, or when you do, generally it'll be a shot, a called shot, not a called shot, an errant shot, you know, an outside the group shot. That can be from your position, the way you're holding the stock, the way the gun was on the rest. You know, those things can cause a bullet to jump outside your group. When you see a grouping move, generally that guides you to something more consistent. So let's pull this out of the stock. I remember it being really good, really well bedded, but frankly, you know, it's been in this stock for a while, and I don't believe I did anything bedding. I think I just bolted it in because it fits so well. And I remember when I put it in, it was really hard to get in. It didn't want to go in the stock. And I remember reading the instructions, and it said that that might be found, but it would be fine. So let's, I can't show it to you. I can't do it with you because of YouTube's rules. It's, you know, you would be unsafe if I were to take this gun apart with you on the other side of the camera there, you know, in your home, thousands of miles from me. But let's pull this apart and I'll come back and we'll look at what we got here. So stand by. Through the magic of television, poof, here we go. Typical Mauser bedding screws. What I did see, well, the only thing that I did see was the possibility that this screw was bottoming out before it was tight. I know that the screw was really tight because when I took it off, it really popped. And I remembered that I was able to turn the screws in and have them stop and then just torque them down. And that's the sign of a good solid bedding. But if your screw is bumping up against something solid, like in the case of, you know, hitting this receiver ring inside there, you might be able to see in there with from where you're sitting. But there's a bottom in there, and if this screw threaded all the way through that and hit the bottom, and I thought it was torquing up on this pillar. By the way, this stock is pillar bedded. Most military Mausers are pillar bedded. They're pillar bedded from the factory. And the design of this doesn't have a bottom metal. But the design of the bottom metal, I may have one here. Hold on, I may have one here. Yeah, I do, right here. I do. Actually, it's from this rifle. The design of the bottom metal, factory, is there's a cup in here. And this cup goes up inside, and it actually goes right around this, which is a cup, which is a protrusion. See it there sticking down where the thread goes in? That actually sandwiches the stock, and this goes on here like this, and this goes right around that So when this tightens up, it's like that. So this creates a pillar in the factory stock. That's the way 98 rifles were designed to be. So the back was, may or may not have been. They usually were, but they may or may not have been. This is more typical. But everyone I've looked at has been. So we're not using that. The stock doesn't call for it, but it doesn't require it either because the way this is designed here. Let's get our magazine out of here. But you can see the pillar in there, and it's recessed because, again, the back of the tang of this rifle sticks down, so that goes inside that. So it's all really a great design for a rifle designed in the 1800s, and it works. But this bedding is it's dead flat, and it's dead flat. And I measured these here for a width, and I come up with 12. I come up with 412. And then when you measure this distance here, I come up with 412. So this is fitting in that tendon perfectly. Now, you know, perfectly. We can't see in there. We don't really know. We can measure, and it should be. There's also a recess in there where that sits down in, and you know, so it should really be really solid. I don't see any movement. The only thing that, like I say, the only thing that I saw was the possibility that this screw bottomed out in there. So what I did was I went over on my grinder, and that's the little star pattern you see there, because when I grind a screw, I spin it. I grind it and I spin it so that however my hand is crooked, it kind of negates the crookedness and it makes it square. So that those angles you see are the crookedness being removed. So the very tip will be taller, will be higher, because in effect I'm making like a pencil point, but a very, very steep one. So that center tip might be a quarter of a thousandths higher than the outside edge. So in effect, as far as we're concerned, it's flat. All right. So we didn't find anything. So I could, squirt this with a release agent, scuff this up, mix up some epoxy and dump it in there and squish it back together and bed it, just the lug. But I don't really see a need. I don't really see a need. Wow, there's some good sized burrs on that. I'm going to fix that before we put this back together. Obviously, it doesn't hurt anything. And it doesn't do anything. It doesn't touch anything, doesn't hurt anything. It bothers me. Maybe I just forget I saw it, because it doesn't hurt anything. Just mold slag inside there. Anyway, I digress. Let me throw this back together and see if in fact I feel any difference here. It's a steel bedding lug there, and you can see the bedding back there. The silver, that's the bedding pillar. Let's screw this back together and see if I feel anything different. We'll use the torque wrench. We'll get it up on a good high torque level and get this torqued up to, I don't know, 50 or 60. How high does this can go? It goes to 50, goes to 60. So we'll go up to 60 inch-pounds. Maybe we'll do it in 2 steps. Do it in 2 steps. We'll do about 45. About 45. And then we'll crank it up to 60. All right, I got to turn you off because, you could get hurt watching me do this. So stand by. And we're back. All right, torqued right up fine. Everything's really good. I can feel that this is right up against that, sitting right down flat on that you know, in the stock, and there's no movement of the rifle whatsoever. Everything is fine. Bolt is fine. The rear screw comes up through here. The very back inside there, you can just see it, make it out there underneath the scope behind the bolt. So I don't see anything. It feels the same as it did. If we did anything, we're going to find out. So I think I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it like that. Like I said, it's got miles of room around the barrel channel. So the barrel is not touching anywhere. You can see down inside on both sides there. You can see through the holes. See the green velvet, the green felt through the holes. So there's nothing touching. So, you know, like I said, it's a fugly stock. I know it is. It's fugly. It's not attractive. It's tactical, but it works. You know, it's Archangel. That's the name of the stock. I forget if that's the manufacturer. I'm not sure, but they make them for 1022s, and they make them for 98 Mausers, and they might make them for another military rifle, maybe to Springfield or something, but I don't remember. But I've had it for a long time, and it's been on here for quite a while. I've got a really nice wood stock that's raw. It's just rough inletted. It needs to be finished. I need to open up the barrel channel. I need to trim it down. It's big, it's heavy, it's fat. I need to take a lot of wood off it. Roll over cheek piece. It's made by Bishop. It's old. It's been around like that for 50 years in that condition. And I just need to finish it and put it on here. I just haven't. It's going to be a lot of work, and I've certainly had the time to do it, but not the inclination. No, that's why this has stayed on it. And you know, like I said, I was impressed with the bedding and impressed with the way it fit. So I thought it should work, and it feels good. You know, when you shoot it, it feels good. It's got adjustable cheek rest, adjustable length of pull. You know, you can tighten it, pull it right in here at the bottom when you're when you get your hand underneath your arm. And you know, it's got all the nice features. It fits well. So I'm kind of determined to let it shoot. So all right, let's call this a video. We checked it. We didn't find any problems other than that screw, possibly. Maybe. I mean, that would do it. That would certainly do it. So let's load up those ballistic tips that Bob sent us. He was so gracious to send us. And actually, a note on that, he contacted me again, and we've been going back and forth in email. And this was from a friend of his that had given it to him, or he left it to him, or he acquired it when the gentleman passed, and he didn't have a use for it. And he really enjoys my videos and enjoys my talking about the 8mm, and so he sent it to me to let it be seen in the videos and such. So a big thank you to him again. You've probably already seen that video, the gift video where he sent us brass and bullets, and I've already got half of that brass and some of those bullets in a box on the way to Jamie, and he may have already received it by the time this video posts. Maybe we'll see a video out of him for the same thing, but that would be good. Anyway, let's load up those 180 grain nozzlers, and I think I want to use the same powder because that, although it wasn't great accuracy, it was consistent. You know, everything was right around 2 inches. So let's see if we can tighten that up with a different bullet. Maybe it just didn't like, the barrel may not like boat tails. I don't know. It's a boat tail too, but it's a different boat tail. So let's try it and see. I don't know if I have any plain base. Well, those round nose that shot pretty good in 2 videos ago. You know, we know the gun can shoot because those shot pretty good. Just the velocity was low. And the velocity in this was low too. If you remember, this was only 2660. But this is only a 20-inch barrel. At least I think that's what it is. Let me get a tape measure. So let's just measure the barrel itself, and we got 19, but you come back a little bit, because the lugs are actually in the ring. So we're probably 20 inches. The correct way to do it would be with a rod in the muzzle. I've got one right here. Let's see what, bolt closed. Put this in the muzzle and all the way down to the bolt. Mark it with your thumb. Pull it back out and measure it. And that's the length of our barrel. And yes, it's right at 20 inches. Right at 20 inches. So the factory length, or the length on a lot of these in the data, is going to be 23.5, which is what the military 98 K98 Mausers were. 23.5-inch barrels. All right, so as you know, in all my videos I can talk forever. God bless everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was informative. Hope I didn't bore you too much with my endless banter. God bless everybody. CW out.